Fox News can't go a day without stirring up another scandal, so maybe it's no surprise that they've suffered a few themselves. When longtime Fox News personality Pete Hegseth was nominated for Secretary of Defense by President Donald Trump in early 2025, many felt he was the wrong man for the job. Democratic Senator Tammy Duckworth, for example, declared in a press release that Hegseth was unprepared, unqualified, unethical, and unfit for the position.
The American people need a SecDef who's ready to lead on day one. You are not that person.
Hegseth's nomination was subsequently jeopardized when a series of allegations emerged about him, including claims of excessive drinking and spousal abuse. A 2017 allegation of sexual assault against a woman also resurfaced. It was soon revealed that Hegseth had paid his alleged victim $50,000. Hegseth's lawyer insisted Hegseth was innocent, telling the Associated Press that he and his accuser had engaged in consensual sex, and that she was the aggressor in the situation. The lawyer said, "He was falsely accused, and my position is that he was the victim of blackmail." Hegseth's argument took a hit, however, when an email surfaced in which his own mother, Penelope Hegseth, called him out as a serial abuser of women. As reported by the New York Times, she wrote, "On behalf of all the women, and I know it's many, you have abused in some way, I say get some help and take an honest look at yourself. I have no respect for any man that belittles, lies, cheats, sleeps around, and uses women for his own power and ego. You are that man." Megyn Kelly is no stranger to controversy, but she saved her biggest scandal for her post-Fox days.
When I was a kid, that was okay as long as you were dressing up as like a character.
Kelly's impassioned defense of blackface Halloween costumes caused so much outrage that NBC canceled Megyn Kelly today and cut ties with her as a result. Maybe they should have seen this coming, though. A few years earlier, Kelly had found herself in a similar situation after an incident that took place on her show, The Kelly File. Sharing her response to a Slate article titled "Santa Claus Should Not Be a White Man Anymore," she declared,
For all you kids watching at home, Santa just is white, but this person is just arguing that maybe we should also have a black Santa.
The backlash was swift and relentless, prompting Kelly to attempt some damage control.
Race is still an incredibly volatile issue in this country, and Fox News and yours truly are big targets for many people.
Of course, humorless is not how anyone would describe famed comedian Jon Stewart, and he told viewers of The Daily Show that he found nothing funny about what she said. He described Kelly's words as
another example of a Fox News segment expressing anger and victimization over the loss of absolute power and reframing that as persecution of real America.
Meanwhile, Stephen Colbert took a different approach by outright mocking her. Fox News elf Megyn Kelly was there to put things in black and white, but mostly white. Conservative political commentator Liz Trotta was a frequent Fox News contributor, and she had a gift for stirring up trouble. That much became clear in 2012 when she made some unpleasant remarks about sexual assault in the military, and in 2013 when she attempted to highlight what she called paganism in President Barack Obama's healthcare reforms. Yet those incidents were small potatoes compared to the scandal Trotta sparked in 2008, when she discussed a news story that referenced the assassination of Robert F. Kennedy. She said, "And now we have what some are reading as a suggestion that somebody knock off Osama, Obama. Well, both, if we could." These comments caused so much anger that she apologized the next day.
"I am so sorry about what happened yesterday and a lame attempt at humor."
A New York Times op-ed from its editorial board said Trotta's apology rang hollow. They added, "We still do not understand why she thought talking about assassinating Mr. Obama was appropriate for television, or why she laughed after saying it." The piece concluded by deriding Fox News' slogan of fair and balanced reporting, before asking, is it too much to ask that it limit its political contributors to people who do not think that killing a presidential candidate is a laughing matter? During a 2015 appearance on the Fox News show Justice with Judge Janine, terrorism expert Steve Emerson claimed that a number of areas in Europe were no-go zones because they harbored large numbers of Islamic terrorists. After that, he made a truly jaw-dropping assertion.
There are actual cities like Birmingham that are totally Muslim, where non-Muslims just simply don't go in.
Perhaps unsurprisingly, a subsequent PolitiFact investigation found these claims to be utter nonsense, given that the vast majority of Birmingham's million or so residents are predominantly white and Christian. Emerson's words soon caught the attention of then British Prime Minister David Cameron, who offered some choice words about his competence of the so-called expert. Cameron said, "Frankly, I choked on my porridge and thought it must be April Fool's Day. This guy is clearly a complete idiot." The show's host, Janine Pirro, provided some damage control soon after, reading an on-air statement.
Last week on this program, a guest made a serious factual error that we wrongly let stand unchallenged and uncorrected.
Emerson also apologized during an interview with BBC News a few days later.
I made a terrible, inexcusable error.
When questioned by a BBC anchor on where he got his information, Emerson pointed to sloppy research and then, after being pushed further, admitted that he was solely to blame for the error.
It was a reckless mistake. Sure. And you could try to, squeeze more blood out of me, but unfortunately there isn't much left.
In the aftermath of the January 6th riots, several Fox News personalities began propagating a wild conspiracy theory involving Ray Epps, a former Marine and MAGA supporter who was among the rioters that day. The loudest of these voices belonged to Tucker Carlson. He told his viewers that the situation had only turned violent because undercover FBI agents, masquerading as MAGA fans, had been egging on the mob as part of a false flag operation. Carlson singled out Epps as one of the culprits, albeit without offering a single shred of evidence. In 2023, Epps sued Fox News for defamation, claiming that his life had been upended by Carlson's false claims. According to his lawsuit, Tucker Carlson spent a good part of 2 years lying about Mr. Epps' involvement in January 6th, creating a fictitious story and narrative about him that is wholly untrue. And because of that, he has faced harassment and threats from Fox viewers and others that have ruined his life. The suit went further by blasting the entire Fox network. It read, "The fact that then Fox would take one of their viewers and turn him into the villain of one of their conspiracy theories demonstrates what we've known for a while, which is that Fox News does not care about its viewers. Ultimately, it will ruin their lives if they see a profit for them to be made." A judge dismissed the case before it went to trial, however. The reason? Epps hadn't sufficiently proved that the network's claims about him were made with malicious intent. Chris Krebs, the Trump-appointed director of the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, once declared the 2020 presidential election to be the most secure in American history. Nevertheless, some Fox News hosts continued to disseminate the so-called big lie that Joe Biden's win was fraudulent. Arguably, the loudest voice behind these debunked claims was that of Fox Business's Lou Dobbs, a man who was once described by the Los Angeles Times as television's staunchest supporter of Donald Trump and of his assertions of voter fraud.
We won't stand for it. We will not stand for it.
In February 2021, Fox News Media canceled Dobbs' Fox Business show, Lou Dobbs Tonight. It was likely no coincidence that the cancellation of Dobbs' show came just one day after election tech company Smartmatic issued a lawsuit against the network, in which Dobbs had been mentioned specifically. That said, a Fox rep insisted otherwise. In a statement, they claimed that Dobbs' departure had been planned by the network, adding, "As we said in October, Fox News Media regularly considers programming changes, and plans have been in place to launch new formats as appropriate post-election, including on Fox Business." In July 2017, Fox suspended Making Money host Charles Payne due to allegations of sexual misconduct made against him. Payne later confirmed he'd had an extramarital affair with a woman, a former contributor on his show named Scotty Nell Hughes. The network cleared Payne after an investigation, however, and he returned to the air that September. Shortly after Payne's return, Hughes sued Fox News, but her lawsuit went far beyond misconduct allegations. She claimed that Payne had sexually assaulted her. She also alleged that she'd been blacklisted as a contributor after reporting Payne to the network. Payne's lawyer told the New York Times that he vehemently denied any wrongdoing and dismissed the complaint as baseless. Meanwhile, a Fox News attorney slammed the lawsuit as bogus and downright shameful, promising to vigorously defend the network. A few months later, a judge tossed out several of the lawsuit's claims, but allowed Hughes to move forward on her claims of failure to hire and retaliation based on her status as a job applicant. Fox News subsequently settled the suit. The firing of Bill O'Reilly over sexual misconduct allegations rocked the Fox network in April 2017. And just a few months later, another Fox personality found themselves coming under scrutiny. That August, HuffPost reported that 3 female colleagues had accused Eric Bolling of texting them an unsolicited photo of male genitalia. When reached for comment about the allegations, a Fox News spokesperson responded, "We were just informed of this and plan to investigate the matter." Bolling's attorney also issued a response on his behalf. They said, "Mr. Bolling recalls no such inappropriate communications, does not believe he sent any such communications, and will vigorously pursue his legal remedies for any false and defamatory accusations that are made." Despite Bolling's claims of innocence, he was suspended from the network the following day, and his show, Fox News Specialists, was subsequently canceled. At the time, a network spokesperson issued a statement to announce that Bolling and Fox have agreed to part ways amicably. We thank Eric for his 10 years of service to our loyal viewers and wish him the best of luck.
Gretchen Carlson exited Fox News in 2016 after spending a decade with the cable news network. Shortly after her exit, Carlson sent shockwaves throughout the media industry when she launched a blockbuster lawsuit against her former employer. Her suit claimed Fox News chairman Roger Ailes sexually harassed Carlson for years, even explicitly requesting they have a, quote, sexual relationship during a meeting in his office, according to a report by the New York Times. In a statement, the network promised to get to the bottom of her accusations by launching an investigation, insisting, "We take these matters seriously." Ailes released a far more defiant statement, blasting Carlson's allegations as false and characterizing her legal action as a, quote, retaliatory suit for the network's decision not to renew her contract. Ailes also said in his statement that the decision to not renew Carlson's contract was on account of the host's, quote, disappointingly low ratings. Just a few months after the launch of the lawsuit, Fox News settled out of court. NPR's David Folkenflik confirmed via Twitter that Carlson received a $20 million settlement and a, quote, highly unusual public apology from the network. In the apology, Fox News admitted, Gretchen Carlson was not treated with the respect and dignity that she and all of our colleagues deserve. Gretchen Carlson's sexual harassment lawsuit caused the floodgates to open. Within weeks, numerous other female employees of Fox News came forward to share their stories of being sexually harassed by Roger Ailes. Among these was Megyn Kelly, then one of the most popular personalities on the network. According to Intelligencer, it was during the course of Fox News' investigation into Carlson's claims that Kelly revealed Ailes had made, quote, unwanted sexual advances toward her a decade earlier.
Where he tried to get physical with me. I rejected his advances.
Like, tried to make a move on you?
He tried to kiss me, and then I pushed him away. He tried to kiss me again. I pushed him away again.
Meanwhile, it quickly became evident that the allegations of Carlson and Kelly were far from isolated incidents. As Vox reported, other women subsequently lodged accusations against Ailes. One of these was Lori Loon, a former Fox News booker who told Intelligencer that Ailes subjected her to 20 years of, quote, psychological torture after she accepted his offer to provide him with sexual favors in exchange for advancing her career. In addition, producer Shelley Ross wrote a devastating piece for the Daily Beast explaining Ailes wasn't the only culprit, pointing to a pervasive culture at Fox News that was, quote, populated by more than a few morally repugnant executives. As the allegations against Roger Ailes increasingly piled up, Intelligencer reported in 2016 that Megyn Kelly's claims proved to be the tipping point. Ailes was given an ultimatum: resign by August 1st or be fired for cause. Ultimately, Ailes resigned on July 21st, ending a career that saw his leadership rake in $2.3 billion for the network. Ailes wrote in his resignation letter, "I am proud of our accomplishments and look forward to continuing to work with you as an advisor in building 21st Century Fox." Ailes may have resigned in disgrace, but he didn't walk away empty-handed. According to CNN, he reportedly received a $40 million payout, the remainder of his multi-year contract. Less than a year later, 77-year-old Roger Ailes was dead. As the New York Times wrote in its obituary, Ailes succumbed to complications from a subdural hematoma he suffered after an accidental fall. Right-wing pundit Glenn Beck has been no stranger to controversy over the years, and that was particularly true during his brief tenure on Fox News. Of Beck's many incendiary statements, it's tough to top the time he appeared on Fox and Friends and accused then-President Barack Obama of racism.
This president, I think, has exposed himself as a guy over and over and over again who has a deep-seated hatred for white people or the white culture.
Beck went on to add, "This
guy is, I believe, a racist."
Outrage quickly ensued. Fox News exec Bill Shine was quick to point out Beck had, quote, expressed a personal opinion that did not represent the opinion of Fox News. Beck later walked back his comments, but stopped short of actually apologizing. During a chat with Fox News' Chris Wallace, Beck said, "I don't want to retract. I want to amend."
First of all, it shouldn't have been said. It was poorly said. I have a big fat mouth sometimes and I say things, and that's just not the way people should behave.
Beck then went on to tell Wallace that President Obama's beliefs weren't racist, but rather stemmed from liberation theology, a religious movement born of the 1960s that stresses helping the world's poor and oppressed. In 2021, Beck is still talking about the incident. During a June 9th interview with Tucker Carlson, Beck took back his non-apology, stating that he does indeed think that Obama is what he called him all those years ago. In a follow-up on Beck's own show, he flatly stated, "You are a racist if you believe in critical race theory. Time heals most wounds, not all." The horrific mass shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High in Parkland, Florida, left 17 students dead and transformed several of the survivors into vocal gun control activists. One of these teenagers was David Hogg, who pushed for more effective gun control legislation in various television appearances. Hogg apparently irked Fox News host Laura Ingraham, who took to Twitter to gloat, "David Hogg rejected by 4 colleges to which he applied and whines about it." Hogg responded by issuing a tweet calling for a boycott of her show, The Ingraham Angle, with a follow-up tweet listing 12 companies that advertise on the show. As the New York Times reported, enough advertisers bailed on Ingram's show that she was forced to issue a mea culpa, tweeting, "I apologize for any upset or hurt my tweet caused him or any of the brave victims of Parkland." Hogg wasn't buying it. Asked during a CNN interview if he accepted her apology, Hogg retorted, "No. She's only apologizing after a third of her advertisers pulled out, and I think it's really disgusting. The fact that she basically tried promoting her show after apologizing to me." Fox News' reporting on the COVID-19 pandemic has been, well, erratic. Case in point, the time that Justice with Judge Jeanine host Jeanine Pirro insisted that the talk about coronavirus being so much more deadly than the flu doesn't reflect reality. Fox News medical contributor Dr. Mark Siegel visited the network and claimed, at worst case scenario, it could be the flu. Laura Ingraham likewise bashed the, quote, panic pushers in the media for going into overdrive in their reporting of the virus, and then claimed China was using the virus to, quote, hurt Trump in his re-election. Meanwhile, over on Fox Business, Trish Regan delivered a fiery monologue about the, quote, coronavirus impeachment scam, accusing the liberal media of using COVID-19 in an attempt to, quote, demonize and destroy the president. Soon after that broadcast, reported the Daily Beast, Regan was fired. Of all the dubious information spread about COVID-19 on Fox News, perhaps the most egregious claim came from Sean Hannity. On a March 2020 edition of his primetime show, Hannity chided the media for, quote, scaring people unnecessarily about the virus.
I'm sure in the end, the mob and the media, well, they will be advancing their new conspiracy theory and their newest hoax.
Many in the media picked up on those final words, leading to criticism claiming that Hannity was lying to viewers by calling COVID-19 a hoax. However, Hannity fired back by denying reality, claiming he never said what he said, despite having actually said it. Hannity stated, "This program has always taken the coronavirus seriously, and we've never called the virus a hoax." Tucker Carlson made a lot of headlines in April 2021 when he told viewers of his Fox News show that whenever they encounter someone wearing a mask as a precaution to prevent the spread of COVID-19, they should, quote, politely but firmly order them to remove it. Furthermore, if any viewers saw a child wearing a mask, Carlson instructed they should call the police or Child Protective Service to report child abuse. That was just one of many controversial comments the host has made over the years. Carlson's greatest hits include claiming that Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff is, quote, clearly demonstrably mentally ill, stating that immigrants to America make the country, quote, poorer and dirtier, describing white supremacy as, quote, a hoax, and claiming increased immigration was a Democrat ploy to, quote, replace the current electorate with
new people, more obedient voters from the third world.
Those latter remarks about replacement, in fact, led the Anti-Defamation League to urge advertisers to boycott Carlson's show. The Anti-Defamation League CEO Jonathan Greenblatt told advertisers, choose to pause or even pull your ads, not just from problematic programs, but altogether from networks that don't respect all people or that repeat baseless conspiracies that endanger all of us. While Gretchen Carlson's 2016 allegations of sexual harassment ultimately led to the ouster of Fox News chief Roger Ailes, the following year saw the network's biggest star become embroiled in a disturbingly similar scandal. In 2017, the New York Times reported that Fox News had settled no less than 5 different sexual harassment complaints filed against Bill O'Reilly, host of The O'Reilly Factor. Defending himself against the allegations, O'Reilly characterized himself as the real victim and an innocent man who'd been falsely accused. O'Reilly said, "This is horrible. It's horrible what I went through. Horrible what my family went through. This is crap, and you know it." A subsequent report in the New York Times revealed a 6th settlement, which was by far the largest, a jaw-dropping $32 million, which the Times described as an extraordinarily large amount for such cases. The complaint alleged that O'Reilly engaged in repeated harassment, a non-consensual sexual relationship, and the sending of gay pornography and other sexually explicit material to the complainant. As the New York Times pointed out, in January of 2017, Fox News' owner, Rupert Murdoch, conferred with sons James and Lachlan and, quote, made a business calculation to stand by Bill O'Reilly, given that he was the network's highest-rated personality. However, the continued drip of negative stories about O'Reilly and the increasing creepiness of the allegations about him led to a change of heart. By April, it became apparent that the negative press posed a significant threat to the Murdochs' business empire, so Rupert Murdoch and the rest of his family decided the time had come to cut bait. 21st Century Fox said in a statement to Variety, after a thorough and careful review of the allegations, the company and Bill O'Reilly have agreed that Bill O'Reilly will not be returning to the Fox News channel. That September, an unrepentant O'Reilly visited Today for his first interview since his firing, declaring,
"This was a hit job, a political and financial hit job."
Promising to eventually present, quote, more things to come that would exonerate him, O'Reilly added,
"My conscience is clear. What I have done is organized a legal team to get the truth to the American people."
If you or anyone you know has been a victim of sexual assault, help is available. Visit the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network website or contact RAIN's National Helpline at 1-800-656-HOPE.